Hi, everybody. This is Lana. Welcome. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to this life healing. I'm so glad to be here with you today. Hi, Preet. How is everybody doing? I hope you guys are feeling well. I'm just saging here a little bit, preparing the space. I'm good, thank you. Feeling the energies. I think I've been more in the other dimensions lately than here. I don't know how you have been feeling the portal energies and the full moon, but for me it's been a very deep experience of, going within, downloading. I've been guided to do a lot of meditations, as you can see. Light language, everything's coming in, so I'm just like, okay, bring it on. Let's receive that. Hi, Dawn. Wow, so many people from Canada. That's amazing. Please write in the live chat, guys, where you're from. That's super nice to see where we're all connecting from. Samya says, can I be added to the healing list? Yes, Samya, you can. But it will be, I will see if I have time to do 2 extra ones, but I don't want to go too long. Last time I think we did a stream of almost 2 hours or 3 hours. So if I don't get to you on this live healing, I will get to you next Saturday or Sunday, okay? Hi, everyone. Wow, Canada, Connecticut. Hi, Angelina. Hi, Louise. Hi, guys. I'm just waiting for a couple of you to come on live. So, hi, Fer. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I hope you guys are well as well. Okay, so I wanted to talk about a million things because I'm downloading so much that I wanted to talk to you about a lot of different things. But the page. So it was pretty divided into 2 subjects, which were the spiritual journey, awakening, dark night of the soul, etc., and twin flames and union. So these were the 2 topics that you guys voted for me to talk about during this healing. So I will try to touch on both and see if we can weave all the information together. So, okay, so let's get grounded, guys. If you want, you can just settle in, take a deep breath in. And one more time. Just breathing in deeply. I'm just starting to connect to you. And one more time. So I'm going to ask that all of your fields, all of your energies are cleansed, are cleared and protected by the silver energy. We're going to connect to the highest aspect of the moon through the silver and to the highest aspect of the sun through the golden light. We're going to bring in these 2 energies in a spiral into your body and around your body, around the space where you are, just to clear and remove any lower or denser energies. Now we're also going to bring in the blue of the divine masculine and the pink of the divine feminine. Receiving this rose tone and this blue tone in combination. and receiving the violet tone into your heart, into your mind, into the mental space. Very good. And opening up your channels to connect to the divine. So we're connected to God, Creator, to the divine light. And bring in this divine light all the way down to the Divine Mother, into the heart of Gaia, Mother Earth. Connecting to the fire at the center of the earth. And letting the warmth just fill you up. And go to all the places in your body that need healing, that need attention, that need love or nurturance from the Divine Mother. And releasing any worries and concerns from the heart. Just give all of this back to Mother Earth. She's willing to receive. And she's calling upon the daughters and the sons of the earth to release all of these burdens so she can transmute them. Thank you. Okay, just going up to your third eye, we're going to just start to open up a little bit more. Opening up to the golden light and the white light. And just receiving the gifts from the divine. Receiving love. Receiving understanding. Receiving compassion. Receiving forgiveness. And clearing with this white energies all of your heart space and your solar plexus, which is right between your ribs, the heart at the mouth of the stomach. Okay. Bringing more peace, grounding into Mother Earth through the green. Okay. It is done, it is done, it is done. And so it is. Okay, guys. So very slowly, as you feel ready, you can continue to breathe in and start to be aware of your body. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay, guys. So welcome again. Now that we are grounded and now that we are clear to receive these teachings or whatever wants to come through. So I wanted to talk about the subject of union. And I think through this subject of the twin flame union, but also of what union is, we can get into a lot of other topics that may be important for today. So as you know, we're about to go into the 1111 portal. We're already in the energies of that portal. And we are receiving a lot of our, let's say, we are activating a lot of parts of ourselves that we have always had, but that we perhaps didn't have the tools to activate. So when we go into our spiritual journey, when we're going through the spiritual path, as we receive more spiritual energy, we integrate it and then we can go higher. We receive more, we integrate it, and then we go higher. So we start to build our capacity to receive divine light, to receive love, to receive abundance, to receive wisdom, to receive all these gifts, right? So sometimes in the journey, because I have heard from many of you, there comes a time where you can feel a little bit stagnant or stuck, or feeling like, oh, I'm working so hard, I'm doing all my spiritual work, I'm doing all my healings and clearings, and I still feel very bad, or I feel like I'm going through the dark night of the soul, or I feel like I'm not going anywhere. So today I want to bring you a message of inspiration for those times, and a message of hope for those times, because everyone who's in the spiritual journey has gone through those times. And when we're going through a hard time, that's when we most want to get out of it, right? So we want it to finish, we want to get to the next level, we want to speed things up. But there is a reason why we are sometimes held stuck, because we are integrating. So if any of you are feeling this right now, that you're stuck either in your life or in your twin flame journey or in whatever aspect, just know that whatever is unfolding, it needs that time to incubate. It's the same as, the metaphor of the butterfly when we are in the chrysalis, right? And the little worm is becoming a butterfly. So it needs that time and that space to be able to birth the higher qualities that would be to become the butterfly and to be able to fly, to be able to be in that freedom. So for a moment in time, we feel like we're trapped, or we feel like we're in darkness. We feel like we're isolated from the world. This is just to protect that very crucial period of integration before we can go out into the world and use all the tools and use all the things that we were incubating, or that we were creating, or that we were being prepared for. So in the same way, union with your twin flame, for example, it comes when the time is right. Union with yourself comes when the time is right. So we do the work, we heal, we do our part, but we also learn through this process to trust in the divine, and to trust in divine timing, and to trust in our soul, because in the end, our soul knows, and our soul is the one who's guiding us and who's directing. The one that gets really annoyed with all of these pauses and seemingly these incubation periods or these integration periods is the ego. Why? Because the ego is always wanting to get things done now. It always wants what it wants now, and it's always pretty dramatic. So the way that you can learn how to be more in your soul is to identify when it is that your ego is pushing you, and to be able to change and to shift into the soul's perspective. So everything we do, everything we experience through life, it can change, our whole experience can change depending on our perspective of it. So for example, I will talk a little bit about my personal experience, so you get just a clear example of what I'm talking about. So in my journey, I had, especially when I was starting to awaken, but also through childhood, I had a very let's say, tough childhood. I grew up with this brother who is mentally challenged, and this brought a lot of conflict and a lot of things into my family because my parents weren't really prepared to deal with a situation like that, and it was just something that was very hard for everybody, especially in the beginning when we weren't even sure how severe things were, how much my brother would be affected, etc. So through that situation, it caused a lot of challenges and things for me growing up, right? And also, well, all the things that you can get as an awakened being that, that really shake you up, illnesses, deaths, accidents, all kinds of things that happen. And, through all of these experiences, when I was living or when I was going through them, I felt like, my perspective of it was a perspective of someone who was suffering all of these things, right? But when we start to go into the light and we start to develop our self-love, our compassion, our kindness, and we start to go into our power, we start to see, even when we look back at whatever we lived through, whatever challenges we had, wherever things we had to go through, we can look back and either see it as, okay, I was a victim of all of this, or see it as, I was a survivor of all of this. So everything that we experience, it really, like the gifts in our experiences as a soul, because we come here to experience. This is what we're doing as the divine consciousness that we are. This is how God manifests in us and is experiencing himself, let's say. So we are all parts of that divine expression. And our own unique experiences are what we came here for. And of course, we have our missions, we have things that we need to solve as a soul. There are things that our soul is always guiding us to the highest outcome for the evolution of our soul. And this may sometimes not resonate with the ego, right? And actually, when we start to be more in the soul, the ego is the one that starts to disappear. But it doesn't disappear in a way that we are blocking it or just not wanting it there, but it gets integrated into the soul. So of course, if the ego is disappearing in these acts and as we gain more consciousness, what happens is that our fears start to disappear. The fear, for example, of dying, the fear of not being enough, the fear of not achieving enough, the fear of, if you can think of any fears that you have, the fear of not being with your twin flame, or the fear of not meeting your twin flame, all these like very dramatic fears that we have that is normal to have because we're human, they are triggered by the ego. But it's through the ego's perspective, if we live through the ego's perspective, it is that they have power. But when we're living through the soul's perspective, we understand and we see, oh, this fear is a part of my ego that hasn't been healed, or is a part of my ego that hasn't been integrated. So when we do healing work, we work on integrating that part so we can continue to live and to keep the perspective of the soul. And the perspective of the soul, because the soul is eternal, is that there is no fear, there's nothing to fear, because we are never going to die. We are always present, we are always creating, we are always in sync with God, we are always exactly at the right place at the right time, because we are the ones who are guiding. So we have a choice in the spiritual path. It comes to a place where we have a choice. We can live by the soul and by the consciousness of the soul and expand more into our soul, or we can go into our ego and live by the conditions and the limitations and the fears of the ego. And I'm not saying that the ego is bad, because in the old spiritual traditions, it was always about eradicating the ego. And it is good that we dissolve the ego, but we let it dissolve into the soul. We let it integrate lovingly into the soul. And because we are experiencing everything, one of the most important aspects is not to judge ourselves and not to judge our spiritual journey, our spiritual development, and of course not to judge ourselves if we are, for example, in union or not with our twin flame, or how far along we are in the journey or not, because everything that is meant to be in your life will be in your life and will manifest itself at the right time. So if something is not yet in your life and you want it so badly, please know that this is your soul telling you that it is going to come. You just have to let it go, surrender, and not worry about it coming or not, because the fact that you can already envision it, that you can imagine, that you know that it is for you, that you know that it will come someday, even if you don't know when, that already means that you're manifesting it, and that it's already manifested. Okay? So I know this is a little bit of an abstract concept, but it's actually how manifestation works. The same thing as, when people tell you, or when someone tells you, I love you, or you're beautiful, or, all these things, when we receive that light from the outside, it is reflecting our own light. So everyone who is able to see that someone is beautiful is because they're also beautiful. And before, in the old spiritual paradigm, we used to, or there was this belief that if there was anything wrong outside, if you, met some really not nice people, that they were also a reflection of you, and that they were a reflection of your low vibrational energy, and you had to go fix that. But that is not, in my regard, where we can choose. Either we choose to be in the light, to see the light, to be going towards the light, or we choose to focus on the darkness, because we are in a dual world, so we will always have both things. And we can choose in every moment if we take the negative things and make them bigger or focus on them, or if we take the positive things and focus on them. And in my experience, in the most complicated parts of my journey, or in the parts where I was really struggling, or I really didn't know where to go, what helped was simply to focus on the light, and to focus on the love that I am, and to focus on the love that you are. And just by focusing on that, it can change so much. The same thing as when you have an illness. If you're constantly focusing on the symptoms, and you're constantly putting attention into all of the symptoms, you stop focusing on all the other parts of your body that are actually healthy. So remember that we are manifestors and we are creators. So if we spend a lot of time focusing on the negative things, on the hard things, on the hard aspects of the journey, on the hard aspects of the twin flame journey, on the difficulty of the spiritual journey, we forget that at the same time we have so many blessings happening. And if we do the opposite, while we're going through maybe difficult times, if we choose to focus on the good things that are actually there, even if they're very small, or even if they are barely noticeable, if we focus on those rather than on the bad things that are happening, those little things will start to become bigger and bigger and bigger until the other things disappear. Okay? So this is just to give you a little bit of an introduction. So going into this subject of union, the first thing through the twin flame journey, I know you have heard me speak about twin flames a lot, and and I see it in a bit of a different way, the whole twin flame dynamic, and especially now because a lot of the knowledge that was out there for twin flames and a lot of let's say templates of the twin flames were kind of corrupted, or were corrupted in the sense that they were brought in back to the limitations of the old paradigm. So instead of the twin flame journey and the twin flame information out there being one of, of the new earth, of expansion, of independence, of freedom, of being sovereign beings, of anchoring the light, instead of being at that, they started to become teachings that were creating a lot of codependency, a lot of fear, a lot of fear of missing out things, and through the whole spiritual community, there was this a lot of like pain and a lot of longing for this partner that was going to come in and save the day or save everything, and it just became something a little bit distorted, and and it started to open up to people giving their power away to other people to tell them who was their twin flame or not, or if this person was the twin flame or not. So this is something that we are, let's say, correcting through the twin flame templates, because this is not the way of the true twin flames. Okay, so the true twin flames is actually, as I have always talked, is someone, a person, a human that is united within himself, okay? And that through that union, which means uniting the divinity in you, anchoring it in the body. So one of the first parts that we work on, or that we heal when we are in the twin flame journey and when we are coming into union, is to come into union with ourselves. That's the first step. So union doesn't happen when you finally come back to your twin, or when you finally meet that person that holds the twin flame energetics and you come together. Union happens the moment you start awakening to the fact that you can be a whole being, you can be complete, you can be nurtured and loving yourselves and feeling that you are whole and complete in yourself. That's the first union. Okay? I'm just going to check really quick the chat. Hi, Gemini Princess. Preet. Preet says, kind of like once it's been visions and chaos, visions stay for it to become real. Yes, Preet. This is part of what happens. But also, the universe, or our souls, let's rather say, our soul has a plan for us, okay? So sometimes it coincides with our heart's desires and what we want and envision for ourselves in that moment, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's something way, way better. Sometimes it's something way, way worse. And I know you all have been there, and I have been there. But if you look into your life, I bet that all the things that many things that you said or you thought, I will never do that. I would never go there. This is never going to happen to me. This is far out there. Probably all of those things in one point or another came into a reality. And many times the things that we really wanted, the things that we really worked for, the things that we thought were meant for us were pulled away. let's say, or we just didn't get them. And this is part of the growth of our soul. And these are part of the lessons and of the experience that our soul wants to experience. So it's not always about what we want and that we're doing something wrong if we can't envision and create. No, it's not that you're doing something wrong. It's just that your soul has bigger plans for you. Okay? So when we go further into the spiritual journey, we start to become more aligned with our soul and with the grander plans that our soul has for us, because we stop putting resistance. And when we stop putting resistance, it means that our ego starts to integrate. And how do you know when you stop putting resistance? Many times for many of us, we have to come to a point where we literally hit rock bottom. And this is something that happens in order to liberate us. And this is also something that your soul is designing for you to be liberated. Sometimes we are not aware of all the limitations and conditions that we carry in ourselves, that our ego is carrying, and that our ego even reinforces, you know? Like, for example, I don't know, people who are super achievers, you know, that they are the best and they have to be the best, and they continue and they're stressed, and they have jobs where they can't even sleep well, and they get sick. And then it comes a moment where they can no longer work. They have this burnout syndrome. This is something that I have seen a lot in my years of being a healer. And when that happens, what happens? You wear yourself down to the point where you cannot work anymore. You cannot have that rhythm. And it's not only that you cannot continue to work, but you literally are put in a place where you're no longer able to do anything in that moment. You have to just take care of yourself. So many of the things that we can judge as negative or as bad, especially when things like this happen, or when we, for example, lose in financial situations where we are forced to move, when a very close relative dies and it has a big impact on us. All of these very strong, in that moment, when you know that, you know, there's like the saying that it couldn't get worse, or it doesn't matter now because I can't get I can go any lower, you know, there's this moment of freedom. Even when we get sick, you know, of course you don't want to get sick and you don't want to miss out on work or whatever, but when you're sick, you might as well be sick and enjoy, you know, taking the day off and resting in bed, and you are allowed to just relax and to be free of that responsibility, let's say. So many times our soul brings us into these situations where we think we can't go lower in order to free ourselves from the limitations that we were imposing on ourselves, that were keeping us from being free and from really experiencing the freedom that we are as a soul, as a divine being, not just as a human, not just through the social conditioning, and not just through, you know, whatever we learned from our family, friends, etc. So in the twin flame journey, something very similar happens, where either you're separated from the person that you think is your twin flame, or that is your twin flame, and there comes a time where you're going through all of this darkness, but it's also healing all the codependency aspects of yourself, all your abandonment wounds, bonding wounds, and there are a lot of psychological things that happen during that time, and it is very, very important to be in this healing modality with yourself when you're going through that period, because that's actually when the union with yourself begins. When you start to take care of yourself, because the other person is unavailable and you're not able to focus on that person anymore, or you are if you decide to, but it is meant for you to focus on you. it's a period of time. If you have met your twin or not, it doesn't matter. When you have the opportunity of being alone, even if you're missing someone or even if you're in love with someone, but when the universe and your soul give you that opportunity to be alone and to really experience yourself, that is a gift. And that is something that our ego doesn't like at all, because we have been conditioned by society, by many things, that we should be in a couple, that we are better off when we are with someone. In many parts of society, it's not really good seeing that people are alone, or if you're alone, or as a woman, why are you alone? Why aren't you with a man? Or as a man, why aren't you married? You know, all these things where all of these old 3D patterns come into play. So when we are alone, we have the time to really examine, to feel, to be with ourselves, and to really fall in love with ourselves. And this is especially, this is very, very important for both the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Because as divine feminines, we are used to be the giver. We are used to be the mothers. We are used to be the daughters, the sisters. We are used to give, to provide, to nurture. And I know that all women that I know would give their bones, would give their everything they have, their strength, they would give everything for their children, for another person, for their loved ones. It's just something that is in our nature, to be the givers, to be, you know, giving our love and nurturing and caring. But when we do, because we have this, it's very important that we have a time for us to be alone, so that we can learn how to take care and nurture and provide for ourselves. Because this is something that we rarely do. And this is one of the most important parts of becoming the divine feminine, of embodying the goddess, to really get to know ourselves and get to be able to nurture ourselves, to know that we are complete and we don't need company, we don't need anything outside ourselves in the most essential way. And for men, it's also very important, for all the divine masculines, to be able to have a period where they are alone, where they are not in a couple. You know, in the old paradigm, or in what we're leaving behind now, there has been a lot of the, you know, masculine, divine masculine, just going or jumping from one relationship into the other, or even if they're not in relationships, that they are, you know, jumping from a woman to another woman to another woman. And this is also partly because there is not that there is not this time of being alone, and to really self-providing and self-nurturing and self-sourcing, you know. So for divine feminine and for divine masculine, it's very important to be in that period of being alone, to be able to redefine, to be able to rebuild, and as a twin flame, to be able to transcend all of these old patterns of relationship, especially codependent patterns. I know all of you must have probably had one or two big relationships in your life by now. And, you know, maybe they were relationships where you experienced what it is to be codependent. And for example, for me, if I go into my personal journey, I had one relationship with my ex-partner where there was a lot of love, and there was a lot of unconditional love in between, but both of us weren't in a place where we were whole when we got together. So even though there was love, it wasn't enough to keep the relationship or to fuel the relationship, because that old way of relating, where one is not enough without the other, or where one wants to go one way and the other one wants to go the other way, and they decide to stay together even though they're not happy, just to not lose a connection. Or when you know that your mission is elsewhere, but you stay with someone because you love them, this is not happening anymore, and this is not what happens with twin flames. Twin flames will always be in their mission, will always be first providing for themselves, nurturing themselves, coming into union with themselves. And when they come to that place, through vibration, you're able to attract that same person that will also be in union with themselves. And when you come together, you will maybe form a mission together, but you will also always remain your own personal missions. So you start to move like together in parallel, right? Of course, you merge the energies. Of course, there is an expansion. Of course, there are many things that come with it. But the main thing is that whatever you were meant to do here, you are already doing that. You're already in union with you, and you know who you are. You know what you want. You know how you're helping and assisting the world. And the other person knows that too. So you're able to just navigate the journey with that awareness. And it doesn't mean that there are not going to be difficulties when you come into union, because we are humans and we are healing and we're clearing many things, and we will, and also especially as twin flames, we will continue to do this. But it will mean that you will have the perspective of the soul, and the other person will have the perspective of the soul. And when you come together, you can solve and you can relate from the soul's perspective and not from the ego perspective. Because in the old relationship models, we would come into being through this love. And even though the love was pure and unconditional, if we were guiding our lives through our ego, then we were coming together into the relationship with our egos. And ego, it's they're always going to be fears and doubts and codependency and probably a lot of drama. I don't know if that resonates with you with the old relationship templates. So this is why it is so important to come into union with ourselves first, and then take it from there. Okay, let me just check the comments, guys, real quick. When you're in union with yourself, says Louise. Okay, when you're in union with yourself, in the way I see it, is when you have integrated, let's say, if not all of it, but a big part of your divine self into your being. So when you are loving yourself, when you are loving all parts of you, and when you are just going through your life through the soul's perspective. Because the soul will always bring unity consciousness. It will always bring compassion. It will always bring love. Even though we can still be healing things, and even though we can still be, resolving things from the past and healing, because this is a journey that is infinite, right? We're always evolving. So there's always more stuff to heal. But when you're in union is when you already have that awareness that you are the soul, and that you're integrating and you're expanding your light, your love through your life. So maybe when you're not driven by the ego anymore, by the fears, but you're starting to be driven by the soul, that I could consider when you're starting to come into union with you. I hope that makes sense. Okay. And Nina says, if we come into union with our own self, does that mean our twin also comes into union simultaneously? No. Well, it could happen, maybe, but, we are individual beings, and even our twin flames or our divine counterpart, They, oh, and this is also, I'm going to address your question from last live chat, Nina, because I think it comes in handy as well. You asked me if we as twins share the same chakras with our twin, or if we share one chakra. I think that was the question. And the answer is no. I mean, we all have our own energetic system, and we all as individual beings have our own energetic configuration. And it is very particular. Yes, dear, I wrote it down. And it's very particular to ourselves, and it can change, and it changes throughout our lives. You know, it's like the colors of your aura. Everyone has a different combination of colors in your auric field. And they also change depending on how your chakras are evolving or are being healed, or also just by momentary situations, they can change. Our aura can grow and become smaller in 1 second. We can just think and say, aura, grow. And just because we put that awareness there, our aura can grow because we're energy. And because we are divine beings, we can direct energy, and we can direct our own energy. So this is partly how self-healing and healing works, that we can set an intention for our energies to do things, right? But every one of us we have our own system, we have our own chakras, we have our own meridians, our own energetic configuration, and it goes beyond the physical body. It goes way beyond. This is part of what I address when I do healings. For example, with you, I work on all parts of your field as an energetic being that you are, through your multidimensionality, not just your physical body or the bodies that are starting to get to be known, which are the energetic body, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, atmic, buddhic, beyond. And we have thousands of bodies all the way up to God. And the same thing with the chakras. But when we interact as beings, we connect through our chakras. So for example, when you come into talking with someone else, you connect through the throat chakra, through the ajna, and if you're talking about or if the person is someone that you love or is a friend, for example, you connect through the heart chakra as well. And we can always connect through our chakra centers to other people. When we're working, we connect to people, especially through the forehead, the ajna chakra, the throat chakra, and even the ear chakras, because we are listening to them. So we connect for a moment, but then ideally we disconnect, right? When we stop talking to that person, we disconnect. And for example, when twins come into union, when they come into physical union, but even if it's not your twin flame, when you come into having sexual relationships with someone, you connect on all chakras. This is why having sex with someone or making love, depending if it's your partner, however you say that, it's very, very important, and it's very sacred, because you are literally connecting on each chakra with them. So all of your chakras get connected, and there's this energy flow back and forth. And through that energy flow, you not only connect to them, to their energy, but you can also connect, if they have other sexual partners, you can even connect to the sexual partners that they have. You can connect to their moms, that you can connect to their problems if there's someone who have, a lot of things going on. So this is why in the twin flame journey, it's very important to also have a very to always hold a very profound energy health, to have your energy cleansed, and to hold your space, and to really take care of your energy, and especially as divine feminine, because we as divine feminines, when we engage in this sexual act with someone, the person that we are with leaves an energetic imprint in a part of our energy system that is called the arc line. So imagine that all the people that you were ever with leave this imprint in your energy. So this is why for women and for the divine feminines, if that person is not healthy, or if that person is not in a high vibration, if that person is not taking care of themselves, they can easily connect to you and pull of your energy. So if you ever had an encounter and you felt depleted afterwards, especially if it wasn't a sacred sexual encounter, you would probably have had, you can even get depleted, you can even get rips on your aura, or so there are many things that can happen depending on the energy of the other person. So this is why it's important that we as divine feminines and as divine masculines take care of our energies, and especially if we want to be with our twin flames later, come into union with our twin flames. It's also an important part of the journey to hold this sacred space for ourselves and for our twin. Okay, let me check the comments. If you have any questions, please, you can write them down. Okay, Samya says, how do you know someone is your twin flame? I thought someone was, and then I met someone else, and maybe the other guy was a false twin. Yes, Samya. I have talked a bit about this before. When we start going into the journey of the twin flame, the person that makes you maybe ask yourself these questions, or look into what is a sacred partnership, or what is a divine counterpart. Is this a soulmate? Is this a twin flame? And then we get to the twin flame concept. That person may have triggered the twin flame in you, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are that he is your twin flame. So when we are adjusting, and especially if you're in a part of the and where you're starting to leave all of these things from the past behind, there's a big chance that the first person that triggered that awakening, or that triggered you to go into looking for that, it can be that it can be anything, but it can be that it is your twin flame, or it can be that it's not, but it's just waking you up into your twin flame energy. Okay? And if we see everything as energetics, the divine feminine and the divine masculine are energies. We all hold the divine feminine and the divine masculine. If we hold a divine feminine that is wounded, that is maybe codependent, that has maybe abuse issues, or that has suffered, and this is the divine feminine that we are holding, it's possible that we align with someone who's holding a wounded divine masculine. And when we, through that awakening of and through that let's say just touching base with that energy, you can start to awaken your own flame, and you can start to awaken to your self-union, which is to start to heal all of those things. And then that energetic maybe will shift into another divine masculine who is in the same vibration that you will be when you heal those things. Because you're not going to be the same person at the beginning of the journey than when you're getting into union with yourself. So when you are loving yourself, when you have made yourself a priority, when you're healing yourself, when you're going into you, when you discover the light that you are, when you really heal the divine feminine will no longer, the healed divine feminine will no longer be able to stand or to be together with a divine masculine that is not healed. Does that make sense? Intuitively, you will be feeling so whole and so complete that if that divine masculine that was presenting is not ready or is not available or is in a lower vibration or is in a denser place than you are, and you're ready to come into union, it's very probable that another divine masculine with the same vibration that you have, a healed divine masculine, will be able to come into your field. So this is why it's also a very important part of the whole process, and especially of healing the divine feminine or healing the divine masculine, that we don't attach ourselves to the person that is holding the energy. Okay? And I know this sounds, when you're in the journey, this sounds terrible, and it sounds like, oh my God, but I'm going to die if I'm not with this person or with my twin. This is my twin. But that again, if you hear that voice, that's the voice of the ego. That's the voice of that part in you that is perhaps still afraid of some things. So that's the part that we need to integrate. Because when you're in the soul, you know that you don't need anybody. You know that you're loving yourself. You feel love for everything. Not all the time. I'm not saying this is like you change and that's it and you go all the other way. No, we're still healing, but you come to a place where you are sovereign, where you feel free, and where you want to also carry on with that freedom into your relationship. Because imagine being in a relationship with someone who is as free as you, and how much freedom and love you can share together. So the point of the whole self-union and the point of the journey is to become these loving beings in ourselves, to give ourselves that nurturance, that love, that healing, and to become free of the chains of the past, to become free of our fears, to become free of our attachments, to become free of, of all the things that we were perhaps taught. And when we do this, we are able to pull into our reality the person that is going to be in the same process as we are. The person that has already freed themselves and that is willing to come into a relationship from a higher place with this light of consciousness. So I hope that made sense. And I hope that answered your question, dear Samya. Yes, Nina, there's a lot of information and misinformation about the twin flame journey. But if we really take a step back, whatever you read, whatever person you met, whatever was that triggered you and that created all of the moments that led you to be here right now and to be able to listen to this information and to be able to connect more fully with yourself, it was for the greatest good, It was all meant to be. So this is something that happens in a journey, in any kind of journey. We have moments where there are challenges. We have moments where we don't want to be in the trip anymore. We want to, get out, or we want to go back home, or, depending what kind of traveler you are. I have seen it all. I've been, I think, through a lot of these ups and downs. But in the end, we are all going to the same destination. And the destination is to be more conscious beings, and is to bring in the divine that we are into the 3D. And it is to create the new earth. We are all here, all the ones of you who are here now, we're all here to create new earth, to create this new paradigm. But in order to forge this new paradigm, this new earth, these new relationships, this new way of looking at yourself, this new way of loving yourself. Perhaps it's the first time that you were actually faced with, oh my God, I think I should love myself. Sometimes we don't even think about that. When we are not awakened, sometimes we don't even think about our needs, about that we actually may need love, instead of accumulating stuff, or instead of, having any kind of praise or of recognition from other people. We have to recognize ourselves first. We have to know ourselves. We have to know who we are, where we're operating from. We have to get to know our ego, our little ego. That is, for me, it's always kind of like the little kid that, that wants everything when it, wants the lollipop there, wants to eat ice cream before eating. That's the part of us that we also need to see and to know. And of course, we have to develop the relationship with our soul. And as we strengthen that relationship to our soul, to our divinity, to who we truly are, when we start to trust in our life, when we start to trust in the divine, when we start to, be more kind to ourselves, be more kind to others, when we start to cultivate the love, our whole reality changes. I know that sometimes it sounds like I'm just talking about love and bubbles and butterflies, but it's really, it's a very, very courageous path. In order to get to that place where you are loved and where you are truly loving yourself, and where you are willing to go the extra mile for you, when you are willing to set up your boundaries, when you are willing to fight for yourself, it is a path for the badass. Excuse me, the word, but it is a very courageous path, and it takes courage to look at your, to maybe look at your codependencies, to look at your limitations, to look at your pains, your sorrows, to look at your wounds. It is painful. It is painful to look also at the wounds of another. But when you do it with love, you're able to heal them. And that is what we're here to do. That is what we're doing here. We are not just, waiting for the other one to come and say, because I know that many of you have had love with a partner. And sometimes that kind of love, if we are not in a place where we are whole, it can go away, or it can not survive in a way, I mean, love is always eternal. Love is always there, but it is not enough right now to just, as an awakened being, to just want to be with someone, or to just want to love someone and be loved by them, for the journey. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's something that we all want. We all want to love someone and to be loved. But in order to really love through the soul, and to really anchor consciousness, and to really fulfill the mission of the twin flame, the way I see it, we have to go much deeper than that. We have to go to the depths of who we are and come into this union with ourselves. So go and heal all the parts of us that weren't in union, the parts of us that were split out, the parts of us that, whenever we felt like something was wrong, went outside to look for love out from outside, from outside sources. When we are in union, we learn to self-source. We learn to get our messages from the divine. We learn to get our answers from the divine. We learn to listen to our souls, and to know what our soul really wants, and to know what our soul is really telling us. Because so many times the ego says, no, ignore the soul, you want this, and what if this happens, and you have to be afraid of this. But if we really listen to the soul, you will be in a place of peace. You will be able to just be in your life, and things may have turns, you may go through different periods of big transformation, of ups and downs. For me, in my personal journey, I kind of lost completely a part of my life, of who I was in that part of my life. It just got completely, thrown. And in that moment, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to die, and that was the ego again. But it was, part of this part of me that I had built. But I had built a lot through the ego, through what others expected of me, through what I thought I expected of myself, but I didn't truly know what I was doing, and through a lot of unresolved pain and things. And it wasn't a bad existence. And, in many areas, I was doing pretty well for myself in a very, broad perspective. But it wasn't who I was. It wasn't my soul guiding. So many things collapsed in the process of me really letting my soul, in order for me to really let my soul speak and to really tell me and guide me. And a lot of the path was just like going blindly. I felt, I'm not seeing anything. I don't know where I'm going. I left, this partnership where I was, going to get married, and there was so many things that were very typical of the, the old ways. They kind of all just collapsed, and I was in a place where I couldn't lose anything anymore, so I was liberated. I was literally liberated from all the things that people had told me that I was, from all the things that I had told myself that I was, from what I wanted to achieve or do by this time. And, all of these things that we have and that we carry consciously or unconsciously. And as everything collapsed and everything crumbled down, the biggest blessing of my life came again, which was this flame in me was ignited. And I really started to trust in the divine. I really surrendered to the divine. I surrendered to what the divine had planned for me. Because if I went through all that collapse and all that phase of collapsing things, I started to trust that that was also part of what I needed to experience. So if everything was already planned for my highest good and my highest outcome by my soul and by the divine, who was I to be dragging the feet or kicking and screaming throughout the journey? So I said, I'm going to stop kicking and screaming, and I'm just going to flow. So I said, divine, take me wherever you want to take me. I'm going to serve you. I am here to serve you. So just show me the way. Just show me what I am here to do. And very slowly, but surely, I started to receive the messages, and I started to listen to my intuition more, and I started to listen to my soul more. And the more I did that, the more my soul took over. And when the soul takes over, you rest, because you realize that you were never in control anyway. So you were trying to control something that was already being controlled by your soul, So it's like when you're in the car and someone is driving and you're in the passenger seat, but you're looking at the highway as if you were driving, those people, maybe you're one of them. My mom is like that. She will sit with me in the car and it's like she's driving, she's looking and she's very afraid. What's going to happen? Are you going to do left, right? And whatever she does, I'm the one who's driving, right? So the other person is the one who's driving. So all that stress and all that anxiety is really just energy that is being wasted, when we can use that energy in order to just flow, to sit back and relax and attract through that relaxing, in that relaxing state, we're able to attract the miracles into our lives. We're able to tap into our creative force as divine feminines or as divine masculines, and to just let the universe take care of it. Let the universe bring you the things, the places, and everything that are starting to align with you. When you align with your soul, you start to vibrate higher. And as you vibrate higher, your whole world, your whole reality starts to do the same. It starts to correspond. So you start to attract different kinds of people, different kinds of places. Sometimes for periods of time when we are integrating, we don't attract any type of people. Maybe we spend periods alone. You know, when I went through, what I call my first awakening, I spent, I think, almost 8 years, where I had very little contact with people in general. I was very, very in a hermit state because I was in a lot of pain, but because I was also integrating a lot of that. So when we heal, as this pain comes out, as this darkness comes out, as the suffering, the old ways, the old patterns release from our bodies, and we, of course, clear not only for ourselves, but for our families, for our ancestry, for our gender, for our energetic configuration. We clear so much in that phase, which is, many of you know as the dark night of the soul, that when this is happening, we need that time to integrate. We need to be alone in order to integrate that because we are in a very vulnerable state. So it can be similar as to when you have a surgery and you need to be in that resting mode after the surgery, and you're not really wanting to see everybody. You don't want to be outside because you're in a very delicate state because you're healing. The same thing happens when you're healing emotionally, spiritually, mentally, any type of healing. It requires this time to come inside, to be able to nest, to nurture yourself, to love yourself. And the more you do that, the faster you heal, right? Okay, guys. So I hope this is bringing some light into all of you guys, and I hope this helps you through your through whatever you're going through. Yes, Louise, it can happen. For me, it was also like that. I had a moment in time where I didn't want to live anymore. But that was the beginning of, my awakening. Mention because we're already, going a little bit long. But let me just check my notes here real quick. Yes, okay. So, one of the things that I wanted to share with you, that it may be a helpful tool for you guys if you're going through any pain or any fear, especially if you're having any fear of, what's going to happen with your twin flame, or what's going to happen with your life in general, or if you feel like you're stuck, or if you feel like you should be doing this, but you are doing this, all of these things. First of all, I want you to just try to think in those moments, okay, what would I be doing right now if I had all the time in the world to do it? Okay? So part of what we do when we are going through the dark night of the soul, when we are in a healing process, when we are in the healing journey, we need to be able to trust that our healing is occurring at the precise moment that it has to be occurring. If we are committed to ourselves and to loving ourselves, and we're doing the part of the work that we can do, and you still feel like you're stuck or whatever, please know and trust that it's just part of you that is integrating. Okay? Because we're divine beings, we need time to integrate in the physical. I know you have heard me say that when these portals are there and when certain waves are coming in, I have to sleep a lot, you know, and I have to kind of stop time and just be with myself. And or I spend also a lot of time, you know, meditating and in the other realms where there's actually no time, right? So it is important that we can give ourselves the gift of time. So instead of feeling anxious and pressured because we want to see things happen now, you know, remember that that is part of the ego. That is the little kid that wants everything right now. So when you're feeling that pressure, you can say, okay, this is my ego. So what does my ego need from me right now? Maybe it needs reassurance. Maybe it needs me to, you know, unbound him from the limitations of time. And how do we do that? You can just, you know, tap into the infinity of your soul. You can meditate or you can do any practice that taps you into your own infinity and just relax and say, whatever is meant to come my way will come my way at the moment in time that is divine for me and that is for it divinely to occur. Okay? So reinforcing the trust and the faith and thinking, okay, if I didn't have the pressure of time, would this situation bother me so much? You know, if I had all the time in the world, would this bother me so much? And probably the answer will be no. You know, if you have all the time in the world, well, you can, you know, wait until your healing happens, right? And if we go to that mindset of, I have all the time in the world, I am here, I am present, I am in my body, I am in this life, I am healing, and I am loving myself right now, and I have all the time in the world, whatever needs to happen will happen, and you don't have to worry about it or stress about it. You can just go and focus on the things that you can do, right? It's the same thing when you're sick. When you're sick, you cannot do a lot of things, you know. And if you're in bed stressing about all the things that you should be doing and that you can't be doing, you won't, you know, that stress will make you heal faster. But instead, you can use the time that you have to heal and to really go into you, to really nurture you, to, you know, nurture your body, nurture your soul, maybe do something that you would normally wouldn't be able to do, you know, going out of the routine. Let your soul be like a childlike, you know, do something that you maybe enjoyed when you were a kid. So these are ways of relating to our soul, of letting our soul take the lead and bring us into more freedom. Okay. Okay, guys. Yes, 1111 is a super big portal, but it is also, you know, it is a master number, and this is part of why this teaching today, I think, has been all of the things that I have been talking about. I know they are not easy, and they are also not easy to do, especially when you're in the midst of it. But they are just to give you some tools and to give you some insight of how you can anchor your mastery, you know, because you are here to be the masters of your energy. You're here to be the masters of your love. You're here to be, you know, uplifting others. You are here to uplift yourself first, and then you can uplift others as well. So part of this journey, the way I see it, and the way I see the twin flame journey, and the spiritual journey, is about becoming that master of your own energy, of your own self. And it's recognizing that mastery in you, that divinity. And it is about continuing to nurture yourself, to love yourself, to know yourself, and to be yourself, to allow yourself to be you. That is the brightest light that you can bring into the planet right now. And that is what we all need. And this also applies for the twin flame, because, the more you are you, the purest version of you, the more you are who you are, the more free you are in being yourself, you will also be able to be with a person who is as free as you in themselves. And you come together as awakened beings, and as beings who are vibrating in love through the soul. And whatever challenges may come, whatever things life may present, you have built it on the foundation of freedom and love. So there will always be more tools at your disposal, and there will always be more support than if you come from any other place together. So it's not a punishment. It is not like something that is meant to cause you pain, or that is meant to be detrimental to you, the part of the process where you're alone, and the part of the process where you're healing yourself. It's actually the blessing, and that's actually the journey. That's why they call it the twin flame journey, because it's really a journey into the depths of you. And after you do that, the rest will manifest. Okay, that's the first thing, the first and foremost thing that we learn. And in the end, it doesn't matter who taught you that, or through who you were brought into this, or through who you were brought into your divine light. Because all of the people we meet in our lives, all of them are destined to be in our lives. And all of them, our soul knew about them. Our soul guided us to them, or we were guided to them, or we just were in the precise moment in time. You all have had those encounters where you just were there, and, the same thing as we came together today. So just trust that everything that is happening for you, and know that you are loved. You are already loved. Okay, you have always been loved, and you will always be loved. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for staying for this teaching. It was a little bit long. But I hope that helped you, and I will continue to talk about more of these things, and probably in the full moon, because we will do the portal activation on the Divine Feminine Gathering on the 12th. All of you guys are invited, and it's about these things because there's so much that I want to talk about. So okay. So if anyone has any questions right now, you can ask them. And if not, we will go right into the personal healings, okay? Okay, guys. Just give me 1 second while I pull these. Okay. And to answer your question, Alisia, hi. Thank you for being here. How do you know if the twin is a twin and not a karmic? Okay. Well, I kind of already explained a bit about that. I don't know if I think you weren't here yet, dear, but you can rewatch this for more information. But another way of seeing that is, every one of you have been in love, right? And I'm sure every one of you have had, the feeling that something is destined to happen. So the same thing that when you love someone, the same way you know that you're in love, that's the same way that you know if this is your twin flame. So this is a very, very simple way to put it. But it's not about, the person being the twin flame or not, maybe the way would be to redirect the question to ourselves and to say, okay, how do you know that you are a twin flame? In the same way that you know that you are a twin flame, that you have this awareness that I'm here to do this, the same way you will know when the person is right for you. When you come into the awareness, but there can be some, what they call the karmic flame or the karmic twin. For me, that's just part of the people that may be carrying part of the twin flame energetics, but that awaken you further, that you meet them and a part of you gets ignited, and you meet someone else and another part of you gets ignited. And when you come to that place of being in the soul, being in your divine consciousness, being in union with you, you will know that it is your twin flame because you will be in union with you and the other person will be in union with themselves. So what does that mean? It may vary for all of you because we're all completely different, but in a very broad way, it will mean that you feel whole and complete within you, and that other person feels whole and complete within them. And they are not, bringing any of the old ways of relating, they're not bringing in any of your old wounds, and they're not bringing in any of their old wounds in a way. So there is not this push and pull effect. There is not this pain and sorrow that is attached, when you come into union with your twin flame, or when you are with your twin flame, the person holds the energy the way you hold your energy. When you're healed or when you have a certain amount of healing, your vibration grows bigger, right? So anyone that comes into your presence can feel relaxed and calm when you are around. The spiritual teachers or the spiritual masters, they hold so much spiritual energy that when you come into their presence, you just feel relaxed. You just feel the love. You just feel the energy. When you do work on yourself, you also do the same. You become that energy and you activate that energy in you. Okay? And when you do that, you will want to be naturally, you will want to be and you will attract the person that is also in that kind of energy. So it is more something that happens in you, where you have to come into the place of uniting with yourself. And from that perspective, more aligned with the soul, you will be able to connect with someone who's also connected and united with their soul. And that's what I call a twin flame. Yes, so many people can bring you to an awakened state. I actually, for example, I wasn't, my first awakening didn't happen through a twin flame or through a person or through a relationship. It actually happened through through sickness, basically. So through a big illness. So, it's not so much about right now, it's not so much about the other person who brought you to awaken, but it is to know that your soul was guiding that, and it was guiding you to meet that soul. And if you envision yourself with a sacred partner, with someone who is whole, with someone who appreciates who you are, with someone who has this unconditional love for you and you have this unconditional love, if you can envision that, if you are able to want that right now, it is because your soul is telling you that it's going to happen. But right now, what matters most is that you bring yourself into that state of loving, and that sets the stage and the platform for that person to come in, whether if you know them or not, whether if there's someone who comes back or not, or whether if it's a new person. Mhm. This is something that I think is very important to start focusing not so much, on the other person, uh, you know, for the twin flame experience to be complete, but really to focus on ourselves and to recognize ourselves as twin flames. Because if you are a twin flame, you will attract a twin flame, you know? And if you can envision yourself having this uh, divine partnership, it is very likely, and I personally think that all of you guys who are here have a twin flame and are twin flames. But the first thing that we need to discover is the flame in us, and then the other flame will present itself when it's the right time. Okay. So I hope that made sense, dear Alisia. Okay. How do we integrate love and the shadow, darker aspects of ourselves? Um, well, there are many ways, dear Lavanyaa. For me in this journey, it's very important to, you know, to have a spiritual practice, of course, because, even if it's just sitting in silence and meditating, that can provide that relationship to the divine. And the more you create that relationship with the divine, the more intuition you have on how to heal those parts. For example, in my journey, I was I always had these, let's say, like capabilities, if you will, of healing people, but I didn't really know how or why or how to, manage them. So because of that, I went into a lot of teachings with different teachers and healers and shamans and all kinds of spiritual traditions, where I was very interested in the healing aspect. So for me, in my personal journey, healing and healing myself was something. It was the one thing that helped me to go through the darker aspects of myself and to heal myself. It was through energy healing, basically, and through different healing modalities of spiritual techniques from, from India, from Australia, from I had teachers in Germany and Mexico and many places. But this is why I offer that. This is why um, I practice healing, and I have been a healer for so long, because for me, this is a crucial tool for anyone who is in a spiritual journey. Because even if you, for example, do yoga or do more of the physical practices, energy healing has this, let's say, the quality that it can go very deep in a very short amount of time. And you can address issues that are on the surface, that are in the past, that are even in past lifetimes. You can go into addressing yourself as a multidimensional being when you're doing the healing. So the healing can be uh, happening much faster than if you would just address one aspect, for example, psychology, or just the physical symptoms. So energy work goes into all. It goes through the physical into all of the other aspects. And of course, it is something that is very unique to everyone. There are people who have great experiences with one type of healing, or with, Reiki and with acupuncture and with different things. So um, in the journey, the first thing to start to integrate is to have the will to put yourself first and to commit to yourself. That is, I think, the cornerstone of a healing journey. To decide to be on your side. I just wrote a post on the community wall, and it talked just about that. In the hardest moments, in life, the one who's always going to be there and the one who's going to save you and pull you out of your darkness is you. So when you do that, you become the light. When you stand for yourself, even though you are battling shadows, even though you're battling things from the past, even though you have many things that you don't know how to handle, just the simple action and commitment to be your friend, to love yourself, to be with you, to hold your own hand, and to, make you a priority, that starts the whole healing journey. And when that happens, you start to get guidance on where to go, maybe to what healers to go, with whom to work to, what books to read, what information to look to. But everything in the end is integrated by love. So the more, whatever tools you have, you can get, or you are guided to use, that allow you to love yourself more, to be more in compassion with yourself, that is what will integrate the shadow aspects of you. Because when we love ourselves, we build more light. And as the light grows, the shadow just gets integrated very naturally. So I hope that helps. Okay, guys. Okay, so I'm going to start the personal healings now, because we're already, again, like, we've been here a long time. I don't want you guys to get tired. So, and yes, Alisia, I mean, we all have so much to learn, and we're all learning, and we're all also masters. So I think you guys are doing amazing, and it's amazing that you're here. It's amazing, to talk to you, to know about you. I really appreciate all of you guys. Hi, Anthony. I say, how can we create the revolution that we need on this planet when everyone talks about love and most of them don't even know what it means? Hi, dear. Well, we have to start with ourselves. That's the only way that I can conceive and that I have personally experienced that actually works and that actually can make an impact. When you love yourself, when you start by learning, if you don't know, because of course many of us don't even know how to love ourselves, but when we set the intention to do it, and when we start committing to that and to loving ourselves, to learning how to love ourselves, the vibration of love starts to shift. We don't even have to know how it's happening, but if you firmly have the conviction to love yourself, for example, one of the things that I remember I did a very long time ago was, and I can still do it now, it's a very good practice. It was whenever I thought anything bad about myself, or when I, judged myself or criticized myself, I would immediately correct myself. And I would say the opposite to that, right? So if I was criticizing, I don't know, something, my shoes are terrible, then I would say, no, okay, my shoes are amazing. These are the shoes that I have, and I like them, And I know it sounds kind of silly. Maybe it wasn't the best example, but it really starts to shift the way you perceive yourself, because you start to bring consciousness into the unconscious mind. So where my unconscious mind would go and criticize my shoes, because of something, or would criticize something about me, I would bring in the light and neutralize, but not only neutralize that energy, but I would put in high vibration and loving energy to that. So very slowly what happens is that you stop criticizing, or every time that happens you have 1 second and you can correct, and as soon as we start to do this in ourselves, we start to practice this, you will see how even your family, your friends, everybody starts to get uplifted just by you being you, just by being in your presence. Let me just read. I'm right about the children in the world. I think most people are happier to pretend, but people do not exist. Yeah, I understand, dear Anthony. But, when we see things from the higher perspective, or from a higher perspective, when we start to integrate the love, we see that it's actually the most powerful tool in the world. And most of the people don't think that love is that powerful, or we have forgotten, or we forget sometimes how powerful love actually is. Just an example. The other day I was walking down the street, and it was just a normal day in a calm street. Everybody was out there here, in Mexico City. I was actually walking towards my house, and I looked down to my left. I turned out the corner, and I looked down to my left, and I saw that someone, a young girl, was sitting on the floor. And when I walked towards her, because I was going in that direction, I noticed that she was crying. And, people were walking by, and people were selling things. And this young woman was crying very badly, sitting on the street. And I was carrying bags, grocery bags, and I just put them on the floor next to her. And I sat down on the floor with her, and I asked her if she wanted me to hug her. And she looked at me crying, and she was like, yes. And I just held her, and she started crying even louder. And I was just holding her energy, and I was just focusing on helping whatever she was going through. And I just told her, you are not alone. I have been there, and I don't know what you're going through, but I know how you feel. You're not alone. And she was just there crying until she stopped crying. She calmed down, and she smiled, and she just thanked me. And I said, there's nothing to thank. I said, thank you for allowing me to be there for you. And then we said goodbye, and I left. And I don't think we even exchanged names. So, that little thing and little detail, if we can just see how powerful and how amazingly powerful love is, for us to be able to heal other people, to hold someone in a time of need, just to be there. It requires for us to be also loving ourselves. Because when we are not loving ourselves, all of these things can happen, and the feeling that we get is that we are that impotence, that we are not able to do anything, that we are not powerful enough to change things, or that we are not able to have an impact in reality. But the truth is that our reality is where we are. Our reality is the people that come into our lives the families that we live in, the places where we walk through, our everyday life, that is what we can change, and that is where we have a direct impact in. And we are so many, and we are so many that are awakened, that if we just take care of our corner, if we just sweep our own little corner, and everyone sweeps their own little corner, things will start to shift. And I know that it can be hard to see. I know it can be hard to, especially if you tune into the news and you hear about all the things that are going on in the world. But if we can really, again, this is part of the ego, you know, I know that it's part of being a sensitive soul, but it's also part of the ego that fears that everything is going to end and that everything is so bad and that everything is not able to be held. When we're in the soul, we understand that even though in the 3D things may seem the way they seem, and we all have a testimony to that. We have all experienced some kind of very darkness or a very hard thing in our life, you know. And God bless the ones who haven't, you know. But the ones who have, you know that you can rise. You know that through the soul's perspective, this is also an experience. And if your soul is guiding your life and is guiding all the ups and downs in your life, the soul of the person that is suffering and the soul of the person that is perhaps completely immersed in darkness or that is a perpetrator, that soul is also guiding the person through the experiences that they have to experience. So we have to be able to be sovereign and to carry the responsibility of our own souls, of what we can do and what we can change, especially in ourselves and where we are. And we have to be able to trust that the other souls will also do what they have to do, and that there is a divine plan for everything, and that we are being guided by a benevolent conscious force that is far more, that knows all the details and that knows how everything is playing out already, and that knows all the possible outcomes. So to trust that whatever we're going through, we are healing and we're clearing collectively to go into ascent. So wherever is happening, we will go into the higher dimensions. We are evolving. We have always evolved. If you compare now how much light there is in the planet to 200, 300, 400 years ago, you can see how much progress we have made. And it's not something that will happen now the way the ego wants. The ego wants everything to happen now. It will happen at its divine time, and everything will come into order and will come into balance. And the more we anchor the light in us, the more the light will be anchored in the planet. And the more this happens, the less we will hear of all these stories of suffering. And I'm not disregarding it whatsoever. I know that it is there. I come from a country that is very, well, if it has had a lot of problems, and there's a lot of poverty and a lot of suffering and a lot of injustice in many ways. So it's something that I grew up with and I grew up seeing. But I also felt that way, dear Anthony. I also felt like I was more suffering because of what I saw than actually, helping or, but when I started focusing on healing myself and helping myself, from then I started to understand how I could make a greater impact, or how I could go and help other people, and how I could go and assist. But we have to be able to heal ourselves first, and to heal the part of us that is perhaps, holding on to some beliefs or holding on to some things, and really integrate that to be able to go and help others to integrate that as well. So I'm anything that sounds like I don't want to pursue with palms to your blind. Yes, my love. As long as we are starting, we're starting slowly and we're starting with ourselves. As long as we're doing the work in ourselves, that's so much more than enough, And I know, and I think you will get to see that next year and in the coming years, there will be so many more people awakening. And the first thing they awaken to is not to, they don't awaken to, okay, I'm here, I'm going to help, and I'm going to create the love revolution, but they awaken to themselves. They awaken to dealing with their own things, to dealing with their problems, and to loving themselves. That's where we awaken. We awaken from our own dream first, and then we can start to serve more broadly if that's part of our mission, if that's part of what we want to do, and if that's part of who we are. So I know a lot of you are very empathic and have always been that way, and there is a way to change and to go into mission and to serve. And even if you serve one person or two, or it doesn't matter how many you serve, what matters is that you are putting it out there and that you are offering that love. And the people who need it and the people who are ready to receive it and the people who are ready to heal will come to you. Okay? Okay, guys, so I hope that helped a little bit. So, okay, let's go, I think, into the healings. Let me just see who is first. Okay, first we have Preet. Hi, dear Preet. Are you there? Hi. Please let me know if there's anything that you want to, tell me, or anything that you would like to address in your healing, and we will start. I will just drink a little bit of water, guys. Thank you, Gemini Princess. Take care, all of you. Yes, Preet. Whatever you want. It can be, whatever you want to address in your healing. It can be with your twin. It can be for yourself. Or if you want, I can just see what comes forward. Okay, guys. So for all of you who are still here, when we do this little healings, if you want to stay for the healing, you can also receive it for you and your twin, or apply it for your situation, because it usually has some. There's some synchronicity in this, so if you want to stay and receive the healing for you as well, you can do it. And if not, it was an honor to be here with you. And all my divine feminines, I will see you on the 12th for the full moon and the 11/11 activation. And yeah, and I will continue to do these personalized healing, sorry. And if you want one for next Saturday or Sunday, you can just read the description box and let me know. Okay. Okay, perfect. So, okay, so let's see, dear Preet. Disconnect to you. Okay, so I'm just feeling to bring a little bit of light language for everyone who's still here. So if you guys want to receive this, you can just close your eyes and breathe in deeply. Om Shayanaya Kuyatarana Taranayana Shurama Om Deram 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 Vashamana Kiyana Tu Kiyanayana Uranandandandayana Shura Hayana Kadayana. This is the Divine Mother coming in to bring compassion, to bring in hope, and she's saying restore the faith. Kuyan Kai Nam Kuyan. And she's bringing this energy right like in the middle of the bodies, starting to, it's like connecting the upper and the lower part of your bodies and bringing in the new horizons. Shoramyakyan, 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 surrounding you in rainbow energy. Dim. And you're starting to see a waterfall come into your head, into all of you, just washing and integrating. Shiyayam Doranaya. Akyayama Doshoya. Akyaido Doya. And releasing the burdens from the shoulders. Darashur Umam. Darashur. Darashur Katarashur. Okay, and bring in golden energy to transmute, to clear, and to seal. Okay, and activations through the Ajna chakra, white light coming in, toning into the perspective, being in the divine awareness. Shiram Turanai, Shiram Turanai. Okay, just bringing that in. Okay, and upgrading and cleansing your field. And releasing the old paradigm. Triatasha, Triatasha, Triatasha. More peace. Okay. Okay. So you can start to breathe in again. You can continue with your eyes closed if you want to. Okay, now we'll just go to Preet now. Okay. Okay, Preet. So I'm seeing a lot of energy build up in your navel chakra and lower chakras. Okay, and I don't know how you are doing right now in regards to abundance and resources, but I feel like we can move a little bit of this energy upward so it can start to flow more easily. Because it's like there's a lot of creative potential that you're holding, but it kind of seems like it's stuck in the lower chakras. So we're going to just bring it upward into the higher chakras. So if you can just breathe in deeply. Okay, we're going to clear the throat chakra and the mind grid. And this has to do, from what I'm seeing, of embodying more of your divine feminine energy and really letting it express. So maybe you have been guided to do certain things or to create certain things. I don't know if you have any, like creative projects or things that you're being guided to do or that you have been thinking about doing maybe. And it's like they're saying it's time to bring it forward into the higher chakras and to start, this energy out and manifesting it into the 3D. Okay, so we're going to just clear for the part of you that is afraid, of. It's like, how am I going to live, or how am I going to provide for myself, or this is what I'm seeing. Because in regards to your twin, it's like I'm asking, okay, what can be done? But it's more like it's important for you to come into this powerful foundation and to give your goddess the space to express. So maybe through dance, maybe doing some kind of dance where you can move the energies of the lower chakras. That would be very nice. To express this sensual energy, this creative energy. Because you're holding a lot of the, I'm seeing your energy in very like orange tones and golden tones. And I'm seeing your twin in blue, like he's holding a lot of blue and the indigo. So we're just going to ask that his energy starts to flow as well, because it felt also a little bit stagnant. Okay, we're going to clear for any old indigo emissions for him. If his soul allows, he wants to receive this. Yeah. And also clear old indigo emissions for you. And bringing in the new missions. And we're going to heal and clear the energy between you. Any static. Or any tiredness. I don't know how long you've been in the journey, Preet, but I feel like there's a little bit of tiredness. Like you're integrating a lot, and he's doing his own integration as well. But I feel like you're a little bit tired. I don't know if you feel like you carry the connection or something like that. But what they're saying is it's okay to, when you feel tired or you need more energy for you, it's okay to, take a breather, Yes. It's okay to take a breather and to, stop focusing and sending the energies towards him and start to send these energies towards yourself. Like, build yourself up, build your energy reservoirs, and this will make you go more into power and more into your goddess energy. And when you do that, it will also help him go through his empowerment process. Because I feel like he's dealing with a lot of things from the past, I feel like you're more advanced in a way, and like spiritually. So, I would, if you feel you're tired, when you guys feel that you're tired, to focus on you and to maybe take a step back, just take a little bit of a break from the whole twin flame connection and really redirect those energies for yourself. Okay. 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 Mm-hmm. Yes, Preet. We're actually clearing a lot of the connection, and maybe it will be easier also to, to just go into yourself, go higher, go brighter, because I feel like your soul is very ready for this. You're ready to be more in the goddess, to be more nurturing yourself, being more powerful. Also, I feel like you're coming into a stage where you're going to be creating and manifesting a lot more than ever before, probably. So it's good, And we cleared also some like the channels between you guys, so that you don't get pulled into his energy and you don't get like tired because of sending him energy. So we're just clearing that. You both are self-sourcing. Shurayam Tuyana, Shurayam Tuyana, Shurayam Tuyana. Kamayana. Okay, so it is. Okay, you did great, Preet. I hope this helps you. Okay. Yes. I think you're doing very, very great. And that belly dancing is amazing that you're doing that. You're a hero too, Preet. I'm so honored. Many blessings for you. Okay. So next up is Agathe. I hope I'm saying that right. Agathe, are you here? Are you in the house? If you are, let me know if you want me to know something before I go into your healing. Okay, so I think she's not on, but I will just do her healing, okay? Because she will probably listen after. And all of you guys, like I said, if it resonates and you want to receive the healing, you can just, set the intention and you will receive it, okay? If it applies for you as well. Okay, so let me just focus into Agathe. Okay, so I'm seeing Agathe's energy. And I don't know why Agathe, but I'm seeing you like driving a car, like in a vehicle, and your twin flame as well. Okay, and I'm seeing that you are in a process of transmutation, a big process of transmutation. Because I'm seeing a lot of violet, violet tones. But it comes up kind of like as a smoke. So it's like perhaps you feel like you're not really able to see where you're going in this journey. And that can feel a little heavy. And I also feel a little bit of pain in the heart and in the lungs. Okay, so we're going to start with that. We're going to start clearing for you the heart and the lungs. The throat. Okay. And I think you're clearing a lot of lineage, seeing that with the mother very strongly. So let's just bring in emerald green energy for the whole family tree, for all the women in your family, for all the divine feminine energies. Okay, clearing the lungs. Okay. Okay, and I'm also feeling to clear the room space. So any past trauma or hurt in the room space, I'm going to clear with golden energy, golden alchemy. Timiakai, timiayam, timiakai. Okay. So I don't know if you want to have children, or there's something to do with fertility or having children, or something that occurred in the womb. We're just going to bring blessings into that area. And we're also going to clear any cords around this, throughout all space, time, and dimension. And we're going to clear any negative cords to anyone and anything in regards to this. Just really sealing your womb space as sacred. It's the divine light I am. And we're going to bring in, we're going to bring in the white flame to burn any electricity, any negative energy between you and your twin. So to heal and clear the connection between you. Okay. And I'm seeing the twin like going, it's kind of like he's in his car and he's kind of like going in another direction somehow. But as we cleared the thing with the womb, he started to come closer again. So the energy of this divine masculine. So let me just go and see. Okay, I don't know if he has some. Seems to be also like in denser energies. A little bit of anger I'm seeing. So let's just bring in some light blue energy to start to attone this very dark blue that he has. And we're going to ask for him to also be released, for you both to be released of your old indigo missions, the old twin flame templates, and to start to prepare the bodies, the mind, the heart, to bring in the new twin flame templates, to actualize missions, and to actualize your fields. And you're receiving this wonderfully, Agathe. You're starting to shine a very, very bright white. Okay. And we're going to ask that any negative energies, entities, any demonic, satanic, luciferic, source of all evil are cleared from your twin. Any lower and denser energies. We're going to ask his team of divine angels, helpers, and guardians to come in and assist him if he allows and it's for his highest good, to move out of these lower planes and to move out of these lower fields. Starting to awaken the angelic in him, the angelic energies. Okay, it's really good. And clearing for both, clearing for the connection. Okay, Agathe. So it would be nice if you know how to do this, or if I'm not sure if you're able to do this, if you know, but it would be good for you to clear for your twin for any negative energies, or just to send him blessings and send him angelic light or the connection to his angels, because I felt like he's being now he's being assisted a lot, and he received the help very well. So maybe you're able to bless him as well. That would be very helpful. Okay. So I hope this helped you guys. Let me know when you hear this. And many blessings for you and your union. Okay. Okay, guys. So next up is Lavanyaa. Lavanyaa, I think she's here. Hi, Lavanyaa. Are you still here? Let me know. Hi, dear. How are you? Okay, I want to clear a shared energy field between me and my twin and create clear and healthy energetic and mental boundaries and cut cords, contracts, and ties with him. I keep feeling him and sensing his immersion, but I don't want to. It feels like an invasion of privacy. I think we're at different stages of our spiritual journey. But my intuition is telling me that's not what needs to be healed. So perhaps if you have any advice on the above, and if you could heal whatever you're guided to, please. Okay. Okay, dear. Let me see. Oh, wow, yeah. Okay. So what I'm seeing, Lavanyaa, when I tune into your energy is that your twin's energy is like literally like over your energy, kind of like like a cloud over you. And he's just like looking down at you, smiling, like in a very, it's a little bit of a funny way. But what this tells me is that that yes, I mean, he's definitely in your field, and he's quite happy about it. Like like I'm floating up here in her energy, and not really, needing to do the stuff that I need to, not doing the stuff that I need to do. Okay, so we're just going to remove him also very playfully, because that's how he's presenting. He's like very happy up there. Yeah, okay, we're going to clear him from your field. I don't know if you guys were in physical contact with each other. But we're going to just work on restoring your field. Shimayankai, Shora. Okay, so we're bringing the emerald green to all of your field. Okay. And we're going to ask all your angels and guides and guardians from the divine light of the I Am to start to clear all of your field, and to start to just gently remove all of these energies that are not yours, all of the energies of the twin and the presence of the twin. We're just going to bring him back into his own channel. Shoraya Torana, Shoraya Torana, Shoraya Torana, Shoraya Torana. Yamakita Pakaya Nashakaya Takuna. These are like the grandmothers who are all helping to just bring him back into his field. Okay, and we're going to go into your inner child, Lavanyaa, into your any part of you that allowed him to take over or to come into your energy. You're just going to bring a lot of love, support, and assistance for that to be healed. If there were any beliefs and belief systems of carrying the other one, of carrying the loved one, just removing that. And I feel like this pertains to the inner child. And we're going to remove from the emotional body, from the mental body, and from the spiritual body. Okay, beyond if necessary. Okay, we're going to bring divine light alchemy to seal any cracks or holes through your field. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Oh, that's better. Okay. So go into your heart, Lavanyaa, and just start to open your heart like a flower, the energy of your heart chakra. It is a beautiful pink color. And we're just going to expand and expand and expand it. And as we do this, we are removing any energies that are not meant to be in your field any longer. And we're starting to grow your projection, your energetic projection. And we're going to ask the divine to seal your field in the outside with silver energy and with golden energy. And we're going to invoke the goddess in you, the sisterhood of the rose, of your organic template. And we're going to ask that they start to work with you, if you like to connect with them, and start to elevate and uplift you, uplift your energies. It's like there's a lot of this dormant potential, and it just started to move upward. So you will start to feel more elevated, more light, this lightness of being, this love, this playfulness, just this nurturance and rest. So it would be very nice if you can continue to connect to this energy and to work with this beautiful energy of the pure divine feminine essence, to continue to restore and to heal, and also to help you heal any past, any kind of abuse or any kind of thing where anyone got into your space, They are just amplifying your space, bringing in more freedom, more peace, more sacredness, and more protection, so that you feel safe where you are. And you can continue to grow and expand and become who you always wanted to become. Okay. Let me just check for the twin. Okay. And they're saying also when you feel, or if you feel any longing or anything, and you feel like your energy wants to go again towards your twin or towards someone else, try to make that longing come back to you and give yourself whatever you're longing for. Okay, and nurture yourself with this beautiful pink energy that will help you in those moments. Okay, we're just blessing your twin. With this divine masculine. We're just blessing him with this golden light. And sending him, I don't know why they're sending him like rose quartz energy. And they're just saying, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. So the Ho'oponopono prayer. So if you want to do this a couple of times, that will help you to continue to release the energy, or to release whatever is not good for both of you. Okay? I hope this helped, dear Lavanyaa. Let me know. Okay. Just sealing and wrapping. Okay. Okay, guys. So next up is, let me see. Andrea Dawn. Andrea Dawn, are you here? If you're online, let me know if there's anything. Oh, there you are. Great. Hi, dear. Okay. Please heal for us codependent patterns. As I would like to continue to evolve with my DM, please help me get in touch with the plans my soul has for me. Please remove my loneliness. Okay. Yes, my dear Lavanyaa. It's wonderful, yeah. It's really good because it's very important as divine feminines to really keep our energy, for ourselves. We are the only ones who can dwell in our space, and it is a sacred space. So it's important to do this practice, and I tell you because I also had, I was always carrying people in my field and in my energy, and it's very important to heal. We can function and we can help. So I'm so glad that it helped you, and continue to do that. I feel like you have a lot of also like healing qualities, and I feel like you're expanding and learning very, very fast. So I'm really honored, and I send you a lot of blessings. Okay, my dear Dawn, sorry about that. I was just responding to Lavanyaa. Okay, so let me just tune into you and your energy. Please close your eyes if you can and breathe deeply. And just relax your body. Okay. Okay, first we're going to heal and clear any energies around you. Any negative energies, entities, any demonic, satanic, esoteric source of all evil. Clear. We're going to clear around your field also. Okay, so let's bring Archangel Michael to please flush all your fields, especially the etheric body, with a diamond light energy. And we're going to clear and remove any energies that do not belong in your field, any connections to the lower fields. Okay, dear Dawn, go into your heart, please, and go into your power as the Divine Feminine. So we're bringing this goddess energy, and it seems like it's this energy of Lemuria. Okay, starting to connect to the waters. It's like your field. It's like we just opened the doors and you start to overflow, to connect with the waters. Go through your waters, and this is also your energy, your power, connecting into the oceans. Okay. And we're going to ask to rehabilitate the Divine Feminine energy wherever she was kept a prisoner, or kept in darkness, or controlled, or limited by any beings throughout all space, time, and dimension. We're just going to free this. Okay. And we're just connecting you to the energies of the portal, of the 1111 portal. Because it seems like a lot is coming in for you to be liberated. This may translate that you're being freed from something that in the past was very important, where there's like a big change coming. So it's important that you are in your power, that you let your feminine energy grow, because I saw you as a siren, kept kind of prisoner, and as soon as we removed these walls, it's like you started to swim free in the waters. So this is very important, I feel, for you, dear, to not let anything and anyone imprison you in any way. To continue to connect with nature, connect with whatever makes you feel good, with whatever brings you the sense of joy, of divine feminine power. Okay. And let me see in regards to your twin. What's happening? Okay, so I see him also, this divine masculine activating. And we're going to activate, I see him sitting on a Merkaba. So we're going to activate this Merkaba. It's a golden Merkaba around him. And around you. Your Merkaba is blue and his Merkaba is like golden. Very clear gold. We're going to ask the divine and the divine intervention to assist him and in repositioning and relocating to where he's meant to be. and to ground, to help him to ground the spiritual energies that are coming in. Demankai doya, demankai doya, demankai doya, demankai doya. So what I'm seeing for both of you is that you are both working through the starseed templates, especially through this portal. Okay, so we're just going to clear the energy between you. And they're starting to put an infinity symbol between you both. And it's a violet infinity symbol. We're just going to ask this symbol to start absorbing and to transmute any negative energies from the past, present, from any lifetimes throughout all space, time, and dimension, to heal and clear all your relationship, all your connections, and to release out of the field any distortion, any confusion, any feeling of not belonging. Okay, so we're releasing this. Turakoinda breathing in. Okay, we're going to ask both of your guides if they can bring you to start to spin at the same velocity, at the same speed. If they can start to run the calibrations for you to balance out the energies between you and the timelines. Connecting to your white light. So it is. Okay. That was very good, Dawn. How are you feeling? Just continue to breathe in, and if you can, drink some water. Okay. Let me just read the comments. Hi, Sajid. Yes, I don't have spots for healing today anymore, but you can read this box and you can send me an email or let me know in the comments if you want healing for the next live healing. That will be, I think, next Saturday or Sunday. And then I will put you on the list. And yes, Arena, the list of the names is who comes next. Is down below in the description box. So those are the ones who booked a healing for today or who donated for the healing of today. Hi, Samantha. Okay. I am so glad, Dawn. Yes. I think we were able to shift a lot, Dawn, and you're doing great. So continue to work on yourself, continue to, heal, and I'm here for you if you need anything, okay? I'm always here for you guys. Okay, so let's see who's up next. Okay, so it was Dawn. Yes, up next is Fer and then Alisia, okay? sorry. You're welcome, Dawn. Keep up the good work. Okay. Oh, Arena is Agathe. Oh, Agathe, I already did your healing. I think you were the second one. So I already did it, but you can listen to the replay if you weren't here before. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, but you can still receive, like I said, all these healings are pretty synchronistic. So, you can receive from the other ones if you feel guided or if you feel like it resonates, you can take it for you as well. So we are healing and clearing for all of us and for the collective. Okay, so let me see, Fer. Oh, that's wonderful, Agathe. Yes, the 11:11 is it's so nice. I'm feeling the energies already since a couple of days, and I think we're all coming to our next level of mastery. And I think you guys are doing amazing. Okay, so Fer, let me know. Do you want me to? Hi. Do you want me to do something specific or whatever comes up? Let me know. Okay, so I don't know if Fer, do you want me to do something specific or just whatever comes up? Okay. Okay. So let's just close our eyes. Breathing deeply. Okay, so I'm feeling to do a bit of clearing on the head at the pineal gland. We're just healing and clearing the energies. They're saying to restore the patterns. Okay, it's like we're going to remove some codes from the pituitary gland. And we're going to ask that all of the codes are updated and upgraded. And that you receive also through the portal, through the rainbow energy, and the rainbow arcs. All of the new codes, new coding, new programming, new geometric patterns, sacred geometry, directly into the pituitary gland. And that anything and all that is not of the highest vibration is removed now by the grace of God. Deprogrammed and absorbed by Mother Earth. Okay, and I'm going to just bring more clearing into the mind. As this happens, there's this resonance pattern happening through your body. And it's like all of your organs, bones, muscles, especially the organs and soft tissue are being also actualized, upgraded. Also the liquid bodies. Okay, and bringing in the divine feminine nurturance into the body. The trust, the self-love, the self-compassion, the courage, the wisdom. And also bringing in the golden energy. With the actualizations of the divine masculine. And expanding through the horizontal field. And expanding and anchoring into the body. Anchoring into the 3D. Expanding the channels of light. And expanding the divine feminine energy. Letting it nurture, letting it grow. Letting it nurture you. And knowing that this energy is also within you. So you can go and receive this nurturance, this support, this unconditional love whenever you need it from the divine feminine essence. Okay, and activating the ashna. It's like these beams are coming out of the ashna chakra, and you're connecting into a broader spectrum of rainbow energy. And this is also connecting you to the first people, to the star nations. They're just showing me like a boat, kind of like a canoe, like an old boat. And they're just saying everything's prepared for you to step into the boat and just cross the waters. Cross the bridges, cross the horizons, go beyond into the new earth, into the new constellations, into the rainbow energy, into the new horizon. Then you have the support of the elders. Just stand in your integrity, stand in your knowing, stand in your sovereignty, and stand in this silver energy. It is done, it is done, it is done. And so it is. Okay. I hope that helped there. And when you're ready, you can start to breathe in and open your eyes. Okay. Okay, so I know that Fer will be doing like a ceremony on the portal. So I hope this supports you. I know that you are supported. Okay, all your tribe the whole gang is here with you, supporting you to come into your mastery and to perform that ceremony. So you're welcome. Much love. Okay, guys. So up next is Alisia. Okay, I think Alisia had written something. Let me just check here. Hi, Lana. No. Okay, as for me and my twin, just go to work. Do what you do best. Okay, I'm open to what needs to be cleared and raise my vibration. I have distorted my thoughts and energy. Obsessed with listening to the YouTube videos and all this twin flame energy I lost myself. I just need clarity. Okay. Okay, my dear. Hi. Hi, dear Alisia. No worries. We'll go tackle that right now, okay? Okay, love. So just be open to receive. Start to breathe in deeply. Okay. Okay. Okay, so what I'm seeing is that you have like a lot of energy. Like your soul, your configuration has a lot of energy. And it's like a very like youthful energy. You have a lot of power. But I see you like as a cub, like a baby lion. So sometimes when they have too much energy, they start to jump everywhere. So we're just going to bring back the power. We're going to bring back the divine feminine and the divine masculine energies into balance. Because I see them both kind of split up and looking in different directions. So we're just going to bring them both back in and to unite them in the center of your being. Now we're going to heal and clear any phantom fields out of your field, out of your energy, any distortions, any mirror effects, any false side interfaces, any false side projections, any false twin flame templates, anything in all that is not of the light, that is going away in a golden spiral, all the way down into Mother Earth. Kashiyamayana Shoyam, Kashiyayam Hekyananda, Shoratayana, Shorantayana, Shoyam Kaidana, Shoyana. And we're going to clear for your divine feminine and divine masculine energies, any negative energies, entities, any demonic, satanic, esoteric source of evil, clear anything causing distortion or destruction. Now we're just going to ask all your angelic beings of light. We're going to ask your divine feminine essence and your divine masculine essence to come back into the body, to come back in through the gold and the blue, in this perfect combination, filling you up, occupying the space. Only you and your true light essence can occupy your space. So starting to care for your feminine energy, to give it its space, and starting to care for your masculine energy and letting it its space and to grow. And we're just going to this cup again, to this, it's like a small lion. And we're just going to bring in diamond light energy to this aspect of you. We're just going to heal him, or heal it and restore it. Upgrading you, your place on earth, upgrading your mission, upgrading your indigo missions through the turquoise tones. And we're also going to tune into the waters. So you start to receive from the fountain of love and light, from the fountain of your divine feminine essence, from Mother Earth. And water has the quality to nurture and to help grow anything. And these are like sacred waters. And they're just here to support your field to grow, to expand, and to release all the parts that of you that were tired, or annoyed, or stuck. And we're just bringing this really fluid energy to all of your field, to recalibrate, to nurture, spiritual progress, your evolution, your beautiful light mission, your beautiful destiny as the divine light like you are. We're going to ask all of your angelics to come in, to start to set the tones for you to go higher, go bigger, to continue to grow with the care and the protection of your angels, under the divine intervention, under divine law, divine alchemy, divine protection, and that only the pure light essence can come into your field and can present. You're going to clear your eyes so that your eyes can only attune into the light, disregarding any false light, any confusion, any manipulation, anything and all that is not of the light. Toraya Shakayanam, Yayam Torayana Shakyanam, Nayam Kuranayam Darashayam, Releasing burdens from the past, from the shoulders, past lives as a spiritual being. Any pain, sorrow, and suffering, releasing. Okay, now we can see the little lion with wings. So it's like a mythical creature, but it's very beautiful. And you start to expand your angelic nature. Tuning the heart. And so it is. Okay. I hope that helped, dear Alisia. Let me know how you're feeling. And I think this last one was also for everyone here present. So I hope you guys received it well. And I hope it helps you and assists you in this moment in time. And I'm here for you, Alisia. Anything you need, okay? I hope this helped. Okay, guys. So we're already into 3 hours again. I know I received, I think, I don't know if 1 or 2 other or 3 other donations. You're so welcome, Alisia. Yes, drink a lot of water, please, okay? Because I think you're going to continue to receive these energies for the next at least 3 days. Great, great. Yeah, I'm just feeling a little bit in the throat chakra. Let me just... Okay, there we go. Okay. So all of you who donated now or today, I will put you on the list for next Saturday or Sunday, and you will be on the description box below. And if anyone else wants to be in the list for next weekend, let me know, because I will only do 5 spots again, I think, so that we don't go as long. So they go pretty quickly, so just let me know. And I will see you all next weekend. It was an honor to be here with you. I hope this helped you guys. And I will see you all Divine Feminines in the Full Moon Gathering if you want to join me there. It's a free event, and we will do an activation, and we will just enjoy the time of being together in sacred space. And for those who want to be there and won't be able to join, I can send you the replay. But please register on my website so I know who I have to send the replay to. Okay. And I'm here if you need anything, as you guys know. I hope you guys enjoy these energies. I hope you're very calm and protected, and that you enjoy the portal and the full moon. Okay. I send you so much love. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for listening all this time. And I will see you guys very, very soon. I'm so grateful for you guys too. Thank you. Sending you many, many blessings. Okay? Until next time. Bye-bye.